Welcome to 4 Oak Street. Today we're going to be talking about toys versus models, some more about track cleaning. As you can see, my Tomix cleaner going, and we're also going to be looking at track and the effects that heat may have, talking from my own experience. So there's a fair bit happening at the moment. Obviously you can hear the sound, and I will turn that right down as I turn this off. Question: is this a toy or a model? This is a fantastic loco. It runs fantastic, it looks fantastic, the details fantastic, the way it works from a control point of view is fantastic. So my question is it a toy or a model? Well, I would say it's a model. But when I read through the manual, it refers to it as a toy. And I will show you. So, it says, "Thank you for purchasing this Engage model. Here are a few notes about your Class 46 which we recommend you read over first before you start playing with your new toy. Following our advice will ensure that your model gives you years of enjoyment." So why is it referred to as a toy? Two things. Firstly, I think that is a terrible indictment on such a fantastic model. And secondly, whilst people that aren't into railway modelling may refer to playing with trains, I would refer to them as actually a model, as in a model railway. Here is the Class 46 just coming through now. So absolutely fantastic, and just like the Class 28 that I got from Rapido, also runs superbly. So I've cut the sound to the Class 46, but you can see the Class 28 making its way up the helix, and you'll notice the red flashing light on the Tomix track cleaner. Now, when I first got this, or when I looked at getting these, which has been over a long time, I really thought they were a bit of a gimmick, and how much could they actually, how much use would they be and how effective would they be. But when I was in Japan, I thought, well, it's a good time now to buy them because they're fairly cheap based on the exchange rate. So anyway, I decided to buy one, and I followed Mark's Train's 2-part series on how to basically make it DCC, and you'll notice if I now turn the knob, I will now shut the vacuum off. So that's now hardly turning, but you'll hear it. So this has, based on his recommendations, a lens silver mini chip, and he also suggested putting in an LED light so you know when, I suppose, the track is powered, and following his CV settings you can make it dimmer, brighter, strobe, flashing, all sorts of things. Quite amazing. So this has just done one lap of the track. Now, it has been used in the last few weeks, but it hasn't been used in the last week or so. So this is about removing debris, so let's just have a look what's in there. One circuit of the track, and initially when I did it, and there's still a fair bit in there that needs to be brushed out, but initially when I did it, this was half full, and I noticed quite a bit of it seemed to be the debris that come off these DCC concepts, or now I think they're called rail concepts or something, had come off this rubber. And despite going round after cleaning with isopropyl and all that stuff and using the good old dust buster there, still pulled a lot of this stuff out and fluff and all sorts. So so I've been quite pleased. Now they are quite heavy, and they are also a little bit higher. So on first use, I noticed my footbridge was moving its position. So what I've had to do is raise it up. So you can see what I've done. I've built these little platforms with stairs to lift it up. Now these also needs to be positioned, but I am considering redoing this whole station area at some point with different platforms and various things. So that was one place where I had a bit of an issue. The second spot that I had was just inside the that bridge. It was basically jamming on the bridge on the left, but not on the right, so that tells me the bridge is slightly out of position. But anyway, a bit of rectification, and it's all going well now. The next thing I want to talk about is the effects on track in terms of hot weather. Now obviously I know the UK has been going through some extremely hot weather, even hotter I think than the summer of '76, which I was in Devon for. But we get some extremely hot days here. So you know, it's 40 degrees, 41, 42, lots of days consecutively over 30. And this room, now excuse the mess still, one day this is going to be empty, bar just the layout. But you'll notice it's always fairly dark in here, and that's because I keep the blinds closed. There's no air conditioner in here, although on Tuesday we're having a different ducted system put in. But I have experienced zero issues. And believe it or not, it does get cold here. So yesterday it was around 9 degrees during the day. So, you know, we'd got the heating on, which people don't think happens in Australia, but it does. So I've really not allowed for any gaps, although because it is in modules, as you will see by the joins in the baseboard, and as mentioned, I probably did go over the top with the amount of separate modules in this first section, but being a double layer, yeah, I wanted to get it strong. But having said that, in the other sections they're much longer. Now when you look at here my gaps in the track, This is just where the joint is. Now, I really haven't, I suppose, checked, but I know that the track is absolutely embedded in that ballast. It is rock solid, you know, just the same as I'm guessing those with ballasted track would be. So I'm not sure how it would give, but obviously would the rails close up? And you can see that where I've got fish plates and everything, you know, where around the points, I don't have big gaps. So I suppose what I'm saying is I've tried to keep the room shaded from the sun, and you know, to a degree that's meant it's been a bit dark in here, but you know, I've got track that is unballasted. Excuse my other models that I've had for years that are normally in my study, but we're in a state of chaos due to the flooding of the kitchen. So that's still a couple of months away, so we've got a lot of junk. But I've not had any kinking, even on the unballasted sections. So I'm not saying it doesn't occur. I think the key thing is to try where possible, is to limit, if you know, if possible, the temperature in the room, which I know is extremely hard if you've got a loft layout, because I can remember in the UK I had a loft layout, and you know, there were no windows, virtually no insulation. It was we tried to sort of section off one place, and we actually used wax paper to try and make this area around the layout in its own little capsule, you might say. But of course, when summer came, that got even hotter. So we were having to contend with the dust as well as the changes in temperature. So that's pretty much all I wanted to say on the track cleaning side. This little wagon has you know, it's showing you that. Let's get it in focus if possible. This definitely does remove some of the oxide that builds up on the track, but it's worth noting, as mentioned, that the track rubbers will pick up. You know, here's one side. I'll put it under the light, and you know, you can see that there's the oxide. Now, if you don't go and wash them, which I do with soapy water, these will actually end up absolutely black. So effectively you are rubbing oxide on oxide, I suppose. So so yeah, I still think the isopropyl at 100%, or the 99%, which you can see there, works well. So yeah, so that's pretty much it. So I still don't have a working area with my computer, so I am looking at everybody's layouts, but if I'm looking at them on the TV, I haven't yet been able to work out how to comment. But still waiting for Dapol's Battle of Britain class. So when will that be coming? Who knows? All right, well that's it from Four Oaks. I will just get this beautiful Loco, otherwise known as a toy, and I will get the a little bit of sound. So I haven't even given this a proper address yet, other than 3. Different horns. What I like about these is that they are set for a realistic speed. So this is obviously with the decoder, comes installed on the sound ones. So this is now set on speed step 103. I would have to check to see where that puts it in actual miles an hour. And I know that just wiping the track without any effort to clean anything off it other than just the dust, and the locos run particularly well. Express straight through. And there she is, making her way over the river and around towards the farm. Well, I followed the instructions and ran this in both ways. And this was the first time it's been loaded. And back into the station. And that's it from 4 Oaks. See ya.